What? Only seniors do. This year they may not do it that way. They might just have everybody walk down individually, so you're not. I have no idea what they're doing for that. Like I said, they don't tell me anything. I just show up. Alright. So with these problems, essentially we're doing the same thing as before, but now we can include the end values because it's like less than or equal to 0. Okay, so I need to figure out what my zeros are, and then I'll make the sign chart for it. So what are my zeros? And be positive 4. Alright, so something to notice with these ones that are inequalities. Okay, with the equal signs, we were looking for just positive or negative, and then we were just writing down, okay, here's the zeros, here's the positive, here's the negatives. But in this case, we want to know what values of x make it less than or equal to 0. So what values am I looking for? Like when I get my answer, when I make my sign chart, what category am I looking for? Am I looking for negatives and positive, just negative? Which ones do I need to make it less than or equal to 0? Negatives. Negatives, okay? I need only the negative ones for this one. Okay, because it's less than or equal to. Okay, so I can create my sign chart. Okay, so I still have to test in all the different ranges, but I'm only looking for the ones that are going to end up being negative. So what are my values all the way over here? So tell me what it will be in each of these. They're all negative, meaning it is okay, negative. Okay, how about in here? Positive, negative, negative. And that gives what? Positive. Here. Okay, so is this positive or negative then? Positive, negative, positive. Okay, using something like 1.5. Okay, to fill that in. So this is negative. And then out here, positive, positive, positive. So it is positive. Okay, so now to get my answer, I just want the ones that are negative. Okay? And because it is less than or equal to, okay, rather than having to use parentheses, I'll use brackets because I can include those because it's okay for it to be equal to 0. Okay? So, how do I write that then? Well, that would mean I have everything here. Okay, and make sure with the infinities it is still a parentheses, okay, because infinity is not like a specific number. Okay, and then the negative 1/2 will have the bracket on it. And then what? Huh? They're brackets because you can include the zeros for these ones. So with inequalities, we can include the zeros. With equalities, we don't. Now, if the inequality was just less than, then this obviously all would stay the same except for now it would be parentheses. Okay? Let's look at 10. Huh? Alright, so what do we notice about this one? Okay, I need to factor it first. Okay. If it's a perfect square, then what is it? Okay, so that means that we technically have a double 0 there. Okay, for these problems that really doesn't matter, but there's technically 2 zeros at x is equal to 2. Okay, so my zeros, x equals 2, and what else? And x is equal to 7 over 2. Okay, what do we notice about the sign? What am I looking for? It's greater than, meaning I'm looking for what values? Okay, I need positives because it's greater than, and I am not including zeros. Okay, because it's not greater than or equal to, it's just greater than, so these ones are going to be in parentheses. That. Alright, so I need to fill in my sign chart. Okay, and you can use this modified one since it's just factored. We didn't like take anything out, we just rewrote it. So you can use this one when you're doing your sign chart. No, I just like to do it just so that I don't get things like all mixed up and stuff. But yeah, you don't have to have that part. I just like to keep my stuff grouped so that I don't lose things in there. Alright, so over here. Negative. So, if you use 0, this gives you negative 2 squared. So that would be positive. Okay, so putting 0 here, that gives us negative 7. So it's negative, and then here putting 0 is negative, but it's being squared, so it becomes positive. So this value is negative me try to get this focused back in a little better so you can see it. Maybe a little bit. Alright, and then how about in this range? Negative and then positive. Okay, so it is negative. And how about over here? I think I heard positive. Positive, positive. So where is my range that makes this true? Okay, and it's in parentheses because it's just greater than. Okay, so that's where the positive values are. So the ones like 11 and 12 where they have like x cubed minus 4x squared plus 6 plus x is less than or equal to 0. I'm not going to have you guys do those ones because that requires us going back and doing the other method, and that just takes a long time. And if you can do this way, then I trust. If you can do both things individually, I trust you could do them together. If you were ever given a problem like that, I'm just not going to give you one because they take too long. I always forget what time to get out of here. 46. Alright, so we're going to jump to 25 through 32. Okay, so these ones now, we're still finding the zeros and positive and negative, but we're also finding where it's undefined, okay, because they are written as fractions. So 26, f of x is equal to 2x minus 7 x plus, or times x plus 1 over x plus 5. So first I want to find the zeros. Okay, that's the first thing it asks for, so I want to find my zeros. So that's part A, is to find the zeros. So where would they be? Okay, so if I set this whole thing equal to 0, the bottom is going to go away when I multiply. So basically my zeros just come from the top. So what are they going to be? Okay, x equals 7 over 2. X equals negative 1. Okay, then the next thing it wants is where is it undefined? So where would this not be defined at? What value can we not have? Okay, negative 5 because of the denominator. Okay, so when we go to make our sign chart, we need to make sure we get rid of that value as well. So we're going to mark that value on there, and we're going to just like put a little slash through it or something to show us that it's undefined, so we make sure we don't include that anywhere. Okay? Because we kind of are treating it like a 0, but we're just going to remember that that's somewhere that it doesn't exist. If these were inequalities, we'd really have to pay attention to that. Okay, these ones are just equalities. We're just finding the positive, negative, stuff like that. So we're going to set up our sign chart. So actually I'm just going to go ahead and make my list over here, and I'll do my sign chart over to the right here. So I have negative 5, I have negative 1, and I have 7 over 2. Okay, so in these ones now, when I'm plugging in values, I have to consider the top and the bottom. Okay, so basically, when I fill this stuff in, it's going to look like that when I put my values in. Okay, so picking a number somewhere over here, what happens at each spot? Okay, negative 6, so what happens to each one? Okay, so meaning it's what? Negative. Oh. Get fancy X. Alright, so then make sure I don't attach my parentheses now. What goes here? Or what can I pick? Okay, -3, so what does that make happen? Negative, negative over positive, so that makes that positive. Also, if you don't like writing the word down here, if you just want to like draw the signs, like that's fine too. Sometimes I do that, especially when I have a lot going on. If you haven't already been doing that and you want to, that's fine too. You don't have to write the word. Alright, this one. 0. Okay, so what does that give us? Negative, positive, positive. Okay, so it's negative. And over here in the last one, thought you were telling me that's what to put here, and I was like, I'm looking for positive or negative, and then I was like, oh wait, you're testing the number 4. Positive, positive, positive. Okay, so then over here, I am positive from -5 to -1. Okay, if you want to cross out or like put a slash through the 5, just so you know that it's technically undefined there, you can. But you're just basically treating it like a 0, so you don't have to do that if you don't want to. So we're positive from -5 to -1, not including those values. We do not include the zeros on these ones. And then also positive from 7/2 to infinity. And then negative from -infinity to -5. And from -1 to 7/2. Some of these problems throw square roots in there. I'm not sure if we're actually going to do those ones, though. I'd rather spend time on the other ones. Alright, let's jump down and do the same thing, but let's do it using just the sign chart for inequalities. We'll probably wrap this section up tomorrow, and then you guys will have time to work on the problems tomorrow. And then we'll review everything Tuesday for the quiz Wednesday. Let's look at 36. X squared minus 4 over x squared plus 4 is greater than 0. Alright, so these ones, it doesn't specifically say to write like zeros, undefined, positive, negative. But I need to find, obviously, what makes the statement true. And to do that, I need to find my zeros and where it's undefined so I can appropriately make my sign chart. Okay? Are you talking about where it's zeros or undefined? Okay, so the top can be factored, so just to help us think about it, okay, it factors into x plus 2, x minus 2. This bottom part gives me what? Seeing if I could trick you. Alright, so then when I'm finding my zeros, where are zeros? Where's it undefined? Okay, same places. Okay, so that means obviously this is greater than 0, okay? So we're not going to include the values anyways. If it was greater than or equal to, we still couldn't include those values because they're undefined. Okay? So even if it was greater than or equal to, we'd still use parentheses with this one because these numbers are all undefined. Okay? So now I can go through and make my sign chart. Technically not, because the zero, well, you could say they're zeros, but they're undefined there. So technically you don't have any zeros. Alright, so making my sign chart over here. X squared is equal to, I'm just taking your word for it. Are you realizing that something is wrong? Should take a cookie point away. Okay, so not there. Okay, because that's going to give you numbers that aren't, there is no value for x that would make the denominator 0. Right? So nothing's undefined. Okay? We probably just probably are thoroughly confusing Alyssa now. But it's fine. She'll be alright. Sorry, Alyssa. Vulture says not really. Alright, so then I do have zeros, okay, but obviously because it's greater than, still not going to actually include them. So I'm looking for what values when I'm doing this. It's greater than, so what values do I need? Okay, I'm looking for positive ones because it's greater than. So, filling in my sign chart. Okay, so I'm just going to write the signs from now on. It's easier. And then over here, positive, positive. Okay, so I need the positive value, so what is my solution? Alright. Do y'all feel like you need to see another one right now of this? Do you want me to go ahead and give you a couple that you can start trying on your own, and then that way if you have questions when we still have one more little chunk of problems we're going to do, which essentially are the same as these, but they're going to also look a little bit like the last section where we had stuff that was split and you have to like get everything situated. We'll probably do a couple of those. But again, I trust if you can do those things separately, you could do them as one. So we won't have as many of those. So then, did I give you guys any problems yesterday? No? Okay. Well, I didn't know if I told you what they were going to be, and you should have time tomorrow, at least 30 minutes to work on this, so hopefully you won't really have any to take home with you over the weekend. But if you want to knock out these ones that I give you tonight, then you'll only add a couple more tomorrow. So from the ones we did yesterday, let's see, 3, 9, 25, and let's see, based on what we did today, 33, alright, 37 looks different than what we've had because 37, neither thing is factored yet. Okay, so the top and the bottom has not been factored yet. So it's x squared plus 2x is plus 3, okay, on top. Okay, that's not exactly what the problem is, but something like that. So basically, the top and bottom, you're going to need to factor first, and then use those to find your zeros and anywhere that it's undefined, and then go from there. Okay? And we'll go over one like that tomorrow. Just remind me that we need to, or actually here, I'll make a note that we need to do 38 tomorrow, so that way we see one like that. But I think you guys are smart enough to be able to figure it out. Well, no, it'll technically be due next Tuesday, because we don't have school Monday. But I don't want to give you guys a ton of homework over the weekend, because it is a long weekend, just I want you guys to enjoy it. So, that's why I'm saying you'll have time tomorrow. I'm just giving you these now, so if you want to knock these out so you don't potentially have homework this weekend, because I'm going to add a couple more problems tomorrow. So